The Senate passed a gigantic immigration bill yesterday that, if signed into law, will affect millions of undocumented immigrants and throw billions of dollars towards border security. The bipartisan legislation was approved 68 to 32, with 14 Republicans locking in the vote. The bill would allocate $46 billion towards border security, an amount that had immigration advocates questioning the worthiness of the bill. This monstrous amount would go towards doubling the number of border agents along the U.S. Mexico border and adding another 700 miles of fencing. This unfortunate part of the bill was apparently necessary in order to grab enough Republican votes for passage. However, the many other positive aspects of the potential law seem to outweigh the hefty border security part for many advocates. Some of these components include the establishing of a 13-year path to citizenship for illegal immigrants who came to the U.S. before 2012 and have no felonies, but they also must pay back taxes and a penalty. Setting up a mandatory employee verification system, increased penalties for forgery, establishing a more thorough immigration tracking system at seaports and airports, and the increase in the number of overseas workers from 66,000 to 264,000 companies can give temporary visas to for seasonal work. Using all of its procedural and formal might to garner attention, the Senate voted on the bill with all of the senators quietly seated at their desks as they rose one by one to vote. In addition, Vice President Joe Biden presided over the voting. This type of ceremony is usually only reserved for historic or significant moments, such as with the passage of the Affordable Health Care for America Act being one of the most recent roll calls to utilize this pomp and circumstance. The bill is now headed to the Republican-dominated House, where it is unlikely to pass in its current manifestation, especially if the bill allows for a pathway to citizenship for illegal immigrants. Many Republicans, particularly members of the House, seem to believe that the U.S. should do one or all of the following: deport 11 plus million illegal immigrants, beef up the border to such a degree as to turn it into a militarized zone, or continue with immigrants living in the shadows. Every single one of the Republicans who are opposed to a pathway to citizenship has an illegal immigrant doing something to prop up their lives. Whether it's cleaning their house, cutting their grass, cooking their food, raising their children, picking their produce, bussing their table, building their homes and businesses, or any of the other many jobs that most U.S. citizens do not want to do. It's time to start the process of cleaning up the gigantic mess that is the failed immigration system in this country.